So there is a battle going on in your head right now, and you probably don't even know it. And that is a battle for dominance between all the different thoughts that you have. And this is important to understand because the most dominant thoughts that you have going on up here have the greatest influence on what you do, everything you do, what you think, how you feel, what you believe, your actions, everything. And so in this video, I'm going to explain to you the mechanics of how this works. This is the basis of a lot of different concepts and ideas related to success, reviewing goals, things like that, but it extends far beyond that. I'm going to explain the mechanics of how this works so you can use it with intention, but I'm also going to give you some examples of how to put it into action. So to begin with, let's look at this idea, the cue of your mind. Your mind holds a line of thoughts. New thoughts push older ones downward. So think of, this isn't a medical video, obviously, but think of your mind as having a tube. And this tube holds thoughts that are in your mind. And as you're taking in new thoughts, those new thoughts go to the top of that tube and it pushes old thoughts down as you learn more and more. Okay, so you have a line of thoughts. That's the main point to begin with on point number one. Number two, top of mind. A thought's position in this tube decides its influence. New thoughts sit higher and influence more. The highest level of influence is known as top of mind. So look at that graphic there to understand that. So what that means is that as you take in a new thought and it sits there at the top of your mind, because it's at the top of the tube, it's going to have a greater influence on everything that you do, how you think, how you feel, how you act, than thoughts that have been pushed down over time. So the thought of this video, what you're learning here right now, is at the top of your mind because you're taking it in right now. It's at the top of the tube. It's going to have a greater impact on what you're thinking right now, maybe how you're feeling, what you're doing after this video, than something that you learned a week ago, because that's been pushed down the tube and it has less influence. So top of the mind is the greatest level of influence. Number three, top of mind influence. Top thoughts shape your emotions, decisions, and actions. For example, if you learn about confidence, you'll act confidently for hours. So you can think about it from this standpoint of this video, or learning about something like confidence. If you are learning an idea about confidence through a video, reading it in a book, somebody's telling you about it, teaching you, then guess what? As you're consuming that idea, and maybe for a short bit after that idea, it is sitting right there at the top of your mind. It's at the top of the tube, and it is going to influence how you act. You're going to act more confidently, perhaps, maybe stand more confidently. You're going to speak more confidently. You're going to feel more confident because that idea is right there at the top of your mind, where that idea has the greatest influence. Point number four, getting to the top. How do you get to the top? Seeing, reading, hearing, or talking about ideas push them to the top. Seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? So as you're consuming information, that's going to the top of the tube. As you're talking about ideas and various things to people, it's sitting right there at the top of the tube. And as you're consuming information in videos, whatever, that's how you get things to the top of your mind. Eventually, as time progresses, though, things get pushed down because new information comes in. Let's go to point number five, the power of repetition. Reviewing and repeating ideas keeps them at the top of your mind. Reviewed or repeated ideas have greater influence on you. So there are ideas that you've heard many times before in your life. And as you repeat ideas, as you say them over again, as you talk about them over and over again, they may have in the past gotten pushed down, but every time you repeat them or review them, they get pushed back to the top of your mind where they influence you again. So repetition and reviewing has a very powerful impact on what sits at the top of your mind. Point number six, the lesson: you want to keep positive ideas and thoughts at the top of your mind and don't allow negative thoughts to stay at the top of your mind. So you want to feed on, read, consume ideas and put those at the top of your mind that are going to have a positive impact on your life, because that's what you want to influence what you do. And you want to put a gate on talking about negative things, watching negative things, reading negative things, because the more that you do that, the more you expose yourself to that, the more you're bringing them to the top of your mind, where they're going to influence everything that you do. So keep the positive there, keep the negative out as much as possible, or keep it pushed down in your tube. Now, here are some examples. Number one, you want to daily review words and pictures related to your goals. When you think about the idea of reviewing your goals, you hear this all the time. Look at them daily, maybe write them down daily. Why? That keeps them at the top of your mind so that they influence your decision-making, your emotions, your actions, everything, because that's what top of mind thoughts do. Another idea here is read and review affirmations, life strategies, valuable ideas often and regularly. So when you're learning new things, maybe this or something else, and you capture those ideas, you might underline them or you might write them down in a notebook. Don't just keep them there. Look at them regularly if you want them to influence what you do. Because every time you review them, it puts them back to the top of your mind. Those valuable ideas, those affirmations, those inspirational thoughts. Keep them right there by looking at them regularly so that they can have a greater influence on you. And finally, look at pictures of people, artwork, quotes that you admire, places that you love. Look at those often. You want pictures of people, the people put pictures of that they love around them. Why? Because they want to be reminded of why they're doing things, their motivation, their inspiration for wanting to do those things. And looking at them regularly, keeping them in your environment is how you keep them at the top of your mind, where those thoughts have the ability to do that and have that effect on you. So put this idea top of mind to good use in your life. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. If it has, I'd appreciate it if you'd like, comment, and share below. And I hope that you have an amazing day.